Hi guys, Axim here. Welcome to the build showcase for my Bleed Melee Flurry Rogue. This is a pretty neat little character I've been cobbling together over the last couple of days. It focuses mainly on bleed, of course, attack speed, health gain on melee hit, and it survives by dodging a whole lot. So if you take a look on my character screen, you can see that my resists are absolute garbage. This is by design. On my previous character, which was a Glacier Sorcerer, I invested into resistances and I had a hard time capping everything, and it felt really bad investing it because basically all my gear suffixes were all just resist, and in the end what I got from it is 40% damage reduction, because in this game, if you read the tooltip here, you can see enemies penetrate 1% resist per area level up to 75. So in effect, in endgame, having capped resists gives you about a 42% damage reduction. Compare that to, say, Path of Exile, where you have a 75% damage reduction, because you don't get any of those penetration shenanigans on it. So in effect, capping resists in this game is only half as good as it is in Path of Exile. So that intrigued me and motivated me to try out making a character that basically ignores resists altogether. And that's what this character is. So instead of resists, what we have for defenses are glancing blows, which you can see is at 71% chance without any combat buffs, and dodge rating at 31% chance to dodge. Now, both of those values will go up quite a lot once I start attacking. I've seen glancing blows go as high as 100%, but that's not all that reliable. Usually it's around 80 to 90. And once I dash, it gives me even more dodge rating for a second. So basically, this build survives by not getting hit a whole lot and then recovering all the health that we lost by health gain on attack. Because we attack this fast, it just goes bloop, health go back up. So yeah, basically I'm face tanking most content with this. Any boss moves, except for anything that's coded as damage over time, should be really easy to face tank. You do need to learn a bit of the boss mechanics, because anything that is damage over time will absolutely kill you. That's actually the build's main weakness, because we don't have resist and because dodge does not apply to damage over time, and neither does armor or glancing blows. So we basically have zero defenses at all against any damage over times. So you just need to know what does damage over time and avoid that. It's actually not that hard. I don't have that many deaths on this character so far. Now, for our items, our swords are fairly straightforward. I'm using an Eastern Blade here because base damage does not matter for bleeds in this game. So all I really cared about was the base attack rate, which I wanted to be the highest of 1.25. For the stats on it, we want damage over time, melee attack speed, chance to bleed on hit, and health on melee hit. As you can see, I have the exact same stats on my other blades, although it is a better base. Now, the reason we take damage over time here instead of, say, physical damage is because we're gonna be picking up a little bit of poison chance along the way, just incidentally. And if we take damage over time here, we can scale that versus physical damage scaling only our bleeds. It doesn't really make a big impact, so if you're really short on damage over time affix shards, then just do go ahead and take physical there. Now we also want damage over time basically everywhere else where we can get it, because we need to scale our damage, of course. And then just fill the rest of your items up with health and dodge rating, preferably as much as you can get. I'm wearing 3 uniques here. I have Woven Flesh for critical strike avoidance. I have Quicksilver Coil for movement speed. And I have Viper Tail mainly for its 60% increased dodge rating. The chance to poison and slow on hit is also really nice, but I would honestly be wearing this belt if it just gave me the dodge. As for idols, it's mainly just damage on here. Pretty generic. Chance to bleed, physical damage, damage over time. This one has a bit of increased health, but yeah, that's about it. Oh, and I didn't know where else to put this, but here's a little demonstration of how high my bleed stacks can go once I attack for a couple of seconds on the training dummy. So as for our passive tree, this is what I'm working with so far. I have the full 8 points in steady hand, I have 3 points in guile, 5 points in evasion, 1 point here, 2 points in duelist, full 5 points in dodge and parry, full 8 points in thief guard, and 1 point over here in sapping strikes. In the Bladedancer tree, I have fully maxed out this tree with this node and this node, everything except for apostasy. Now, you really don't want to pick this node, basically ever. This is the biggest trap node in the game. Even if we weren't a heavily dodge focused build, taking this node would be stupid. It's just, the math does not work out. It's never in your favor taking this node, just don't. Then we have 4 points here in Blood Serpent's Blades, 3 points in Blood Dance, 1 point here and here, just so we can take the nodes after that. That's actually Weapons of Choice is one of our main sources of glancing blow chance. As you can see, we get 40% right here. This is the perfection stacks, which you can see on our buff bar scaling up here. This is another really nice scaling combat buff. That's one of the main sources of our survivability during combat, probably. The perfection stacks, and then especially the confidence stacks behind it, which... yeah, basically I'm getting 500 flat armor and dodge rating once I'm at full perfection stacks, which happens pretty quickly. And we just have 1 point here, so we gain 2 stacks of perfection while at full health instead of just 1. Then in the marksman tree, all I have for now is focus fire, fully stacked, just so we can debuff enemy dodge rating, because dodge rating is one of the worst things for our damage in this build. Now, if you're gonna level this build, one thing you really need to do is focus this node. I don't even have it spec'd anymore because it kind of falls off once you have your bleed chance sorted from other sources. But throughout the entire story, as soon as you can get this node, it just carries your entire build till the end of story and even beyond. Like literally, I upgraded my gear on my character once at level 12. And then I just pushed through the entire story. I defeated Lagon with my highest level requirement on an item being 12. That's how insane this node is. It just carries. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I would definitely recommend it. As for my skills, this is what I have specialized. In the Flurry tree, you want to first off head over here to the right, grab Shockwave, and then grab Billowing Waves behind it, both points. Then next up you're going down here, and to the left, grab Adrenaline Rush, 2 points should be enough, and 1 point in Inexhaustible behind it. And then with the rest of your points, you put them in damage over time and bleed effect. And 3 points in Vile Tactics. That was my last point I assigned, I think. Then Puncture. This is basically just here for the Bloodthirst. It buffs our bleed chance pretty significantly. This stacks to 3 and there's plus 3 stacks behind it, so we can get 360% global bleed chance from this. There's also Press the Attack here, which gives you Frenzy to get a bit of attack speed from it. And then we have Physical Resist Shred chance here, and melee range here. The resist shred, I don't think it's really all that important. And this point down here is actually just straight up bad. Let me remove that. This will go over here once I'm done re-leveling the skill. Next up we have our movement skill, Shift. So what you want to do here is, I guess it doesn't really matter the order in which you take them. I think the way I did it is I grabbed the Shadow Cascade trigger down here first. Then I went for the healing stuff, and then for the Acid Flask last. And then because this is triggering Shadow Cascade and Acid Flask, you want to specialize those skills, because you can just get so much benefit from it. So what I have in Shadow Cascade is the increased area of effect, of course, maxed out. Then I just path here to Gloomstalker, chance to create a shadow on kill. 200% chance to shred enemy armor, not really impactful. Yeah, a lot of this is pretty negligible. It does decent damage while jumping through packs. So it is worth taking a bunch of damage notes here on this, in my opinion. And then last but not least, we have Acid Flask, which these passives up here are irrelevant, but we don't want to path through the bottom pathing because we want the area here. Then just take the Poison Pool node, take the duration for it, take Efficacious Toxin. This is the main reason why we're using Acid Flask to begin with, because it makes all your damage over times deal more damage. And then I have the global poison chance while in pool because I had spare points, and why the hell not? Now, on my skill bar I also have Decoy and Smoke Bomb, but I rarely ever use them, if at all. So yeah, it's mainly just a 3-button build for me. I main attack, I jump, and I puncture to buff. Alright guys, I think that about wraps up the talky part of the video. Now if you have any inputs about the build, or if something I explained was unclear, please do feel free to post it in the comments down below. I'll make an effort to read and reply to every single one of them. Now I wouldn't really consider this a finished build yet. I'd probably want to push it to level 90 or so before I consider it finished, at least. But for now I'm having a blast with it, and I hope you'll enjoy it as well if you do try it out. For now, just lean back and enjoy the Monolith showcase, and please do remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much, have a good one.